advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
Hey, what's happening? Welcome to the show, Black Focus Radio, the Thursday edition. We're here Monday through Friday, noon to 2 p.m. on joynetradio.com. Our issues, our solutions, our voices. If you'd like to talk to me, get on the show. Call me at 855-525-5683. I would love to hear from you. Hear what's on your mind. I hope you've read some of the teas today. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Russ. Thanks for joining the show. Want to remind people as well, you can download the Joynet Radio app. Go out to joynetradio.com. That way you can carry us everywhere you go. You can also Bluetooth it into your car. So there's no excuse. Well, we can't get it on that radio. Yeah, you can. If you got a cell phone, you got a tablet, you got any of those contraptions, just Bluetooth it to your car. And you can ride around and listen to Joynet Radio all day and every day, but especially noon to 2 p.m. for Black Focus Radio. Also, if you miss any part of the show, I had to go out to the app station and do a little cleanup. But you can go out and download the, I shouldn't say the app station, but the podcast station. Like a dummy, I was posting a lot of stuff on the wrong podcast, so it's been kind of cleaned up a little bit now. So you should be able to find what you need. I got too much stuff, man. Okay? I just got too much stuff I'm doing. And by the way, if you're texting me right now, hello to you too, but call me up at the show. But you can download the podcast and get all the back shows, some of the back shows. Man, I've got 4.5 years of shows. I'm not uploading all that stuff. I mean, I'm just not going to do it. Okay? I'm just not. Look, I'm not trying to be obstinate or mean. I just don't have time. I'm just going to be honest with you now. I am looking for an in-studio producer, so if you know of anyone out there, let me know. We'd love to get them. We'd love to hook you up. Get you involved and immersed in the radio business. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today, y'all. Let me. I'm laughing because when I switched to my Facebook page, I use my Facebook page as kind of like my notes page. And when I switched to my Facebook page, one of the stories that I'm going to talk about is about a Missouri church leader, and it just kind of jumped out at me a little bit. So that's what made me laugh, okay? But here's the tease for the day. I wish everyone a Merry Impeachment. I wish you a Merry Impeachment. I wish you a Merry Impeachment. I wish you a Merry Impeachment. And jail time for PLOTUS. We want you to get some jail time. Thinking about it, making me some impeachment cobbler, if y'all get what I was doing, right? Thinking about traveling down to Hotlanta, and hanging out on Impeachment Tree Street. You know, there are like 5,000 peach trees in Atlanta. But really, what does it all mean? We're going to talk a little bit about that today. Obviously, yesterday, Donald Trump was impeached. We'll talk about what does it mean, because I've been seeing a lot of stupid stuff on Facebook. I'm going to kind of clear up a few things today. All right. Also, all of the Arkansas Congress people proved once again they have no backbone. But what else is new as it relates to the Republican Party? They have no backbone at all. I hope you all remember that when you go to the polls. We'll get into that a little bit today. And also the newly appointed Citizens Review Board. Oh man, oh man, oh man. So I went out and looked up all of the people that were newly appointed for the Citizens Review Board. Do yourself a favor and do that as well. There's an article on my wall from the Arkansas Democrat that gives all their names and what they do as a living. Is that what you were expecting when your mayor said that he was going to have a Citizens Review Board? I'll give you my thoughts on that here in a little bit. Stick and stay for that. All right? But, man, I'm beginning to understand a lot what's going on in Little Rock, man. I'm beginning to understand a lot. It's taken me a while. It's not that I'm slow, because I'm not slow. I'm pretty good at putting 2 plus 2 together. I'm not slow, but it took me a while because I'm not going to get into that right now, okay? But I'm beginning to understand. Maybe that's why it makes so many people mad at me when they listen to this show. Anyway, before we do anything else, we got to do Black Facts.
Dynamic Black Facts. Our culture, our history, our people.
Man, if I didn't know better, I would think, oh, there it is. I would think it is a conspiracy. Now, I do believe that Facebook is blocking a lot of black stuff. So I posted a link on my wall yesterday about some other atrocities. You know, we talked a little bit about Tulsa this week. And the Black Fact today is going to be about some of those other atrocities other than Tulsa. So when I went out to pull up the link today, because I knew when I posted it yesterday that I was going to use that Black Fact for today. And when I clicked on the link, it said file not found on Facebook. So then I went out and I searched, because this particular story is from BET. I'm laughing because it is BET. Okay. Yeah, Russ, I've been enlightened. I think I'm understanding. I'm gonna get into that here in a little bit. Don't try to throw me off track here, okay? People get mad at me because I do jump off track sometimes. I have so much stuff going on in my head at one time, you know, with these 13 personalities and all of them talking to me and throwing news at me. You know, sometimes I get off track a little bit. All right. So 5 other massacres that devastated Black America. Because it's important that we talk about them. It's important that we continue to talk about them. Today, news broke that researchers believe the death toll in the 1921 Tulsa, Oklahoma race massacre, which came to some people's attention for the first time during the HBO series Watchmen, might be much higher than the originally reported 36. According to a Washington Post article, a team of forensic archaeologists who spent weeks using ground-penetrating radar at 3 different sites in the city announced Monday, that's this past Monday, they have found anomalies consistent with mass graves that warrant further testing. In May 1921, a 17-year-old white girl accused a black teenager of assault in downtown Tulsa, and white terrorism ensued. While the exact death toll is not yet clear, we don't have to be a forensic archaeologist to surmise that it was way beyond 36. There have been countless reports, including from the TulsaHistory.org website, that 300 or more people were murdered in an act of bloody white terrorism. The media of the time downplayed the destruction of the successful black area known as Black Wall Street. If Watchmen was your first time hearing about the brutal massacre of 1921 and Black Wall Street, you shouldn't stop there. Race massacres were commonplace and are blatantly and purposely ignored in the history books. Here are 5 race massacres you should be aware of. And before I get into these, let me be clear that there were a lot more than just these 5. As you heard, the local media hid it. History books have erased them, but there were a lot more than just these 5. But we're going to talk about these 5. Colfax, Louisiana massacre, 1873. Despite some people claiming America was great for black people, 7 years after the Civil War, black men and women were being massacred in plain sight. One of the most horrific incidents, at least that we know of, was April 1873 in Colfax, Louisiana. Approximately 150 black men were murdered by white men with guns and cannons for trying to freely assemble at a courthouse. Sadly, the exact number of deaths is unknown because many black bodies were thrown into what was called the Red River. Wilmington, North Carolina massacre, 1898. By 1898, Wilmington, North Carolina was a thriving area with a majority of black population. There were also several black elected public officials, forcing whites to share power. Of course, the threat of Negro rule created illogical white racial resentment. Let me read that part to you again. The threat of Negro rule created illogical white resentment. Does that sound familiar today? In addition, the media frequently reported erroneously that white womanhood was threatened by black men. You're going to see a common thread in all of these, okay? A white Wilmington newspaper printed a speech by a Georgia feminist that read, "If it requires lynching to protect woman's dearest possession from ravening, drunken human beast, then I say lynch 1,000 Negroes a week if it is necessary." By the election of 1898, black men were prevented from voting to push out black elected officials. However, white supremacists could not stop the economic power that blacks had already created. Therefore, they destroyed black Wilmington with terrorism. The day after the 1898 election, whites announced the White Declaration of Independence. They overthrew the Wilmington government, destroyed the printing press, forced out the mayor, and a mob of white men attacked black residents. There were reported 60 to 300 black people killed by domestic terrorism. For over 100 years, the powers that be in Wilmington tried to erase the massacre from its history, until 2000, when the General Assembly established the 1898 Wilmington Race Riot Commission that developed a historical record of the event and to assess the economic impact of the riot on African Americans locally and across the region and state. According to the North Carolina Department of Natural and Cultural Resources, the massacre is now in state's historical record. By the way, I just want to go back to one thing real fast that I read that, I've told y'all over and over again that there is no such thing as black feminist. So listen to this part again. A white Wilmington newspaper printed a speech by a Georgia feminist. That Georgia feminist was white. And it said, if it requires lynching to protect woman's dearest possessions from ravening, drunken human beast, then I say lynch 1,000 Negroes a week. if it is necessary. There you go, black feminist. There's no such thing as black feminist. Don't get me on that. The Atlanta Massacre, 1906. Like many race massacres, the violence in Atlanta at the turn of the century began with a white woman accusing a black man of rape. You know, why this is so illogical? Because black men were not stupid. And black men were not running around raping white women because they knew what the consequences was. So to continue these lies is just an abomination, man. On September 22nd, 1906, Atlanta newspapers reported that 4 white women alleged they were assaulted by black men, a claim that was completely unfounded. In reality, whites were threatened by upwardly mobile black communities in Atlanta, which they believed were taking away their jobs. This bogus report of sexual assault drove as many as 2,000 white men to the streets, and they went into the black communities to beat, stab, and shoot any black people in sight. PBS reports a disabled man was chased down and beaten to death. Communities were destroyed, and the unofficial death toll was up to 100 people. Elaine, Arkansas, 1919. The Encyclopedia of Arkansas calls the Elaine Massacre by far the deadliest racial confrontation in Arkansas history and possibly the bloodiest racial conflict in the history of the United States. Blacks outnumbered whites 10-1 and were demanding economic justice, as many were forced into sharecropping. A union was created to protect sharecroppers, and whites were outraged at the even smallest move toward equality. In September 1919, there was a union meeting among black workers, and whites showed up to riot. As a result, 1 white man was shot and killed. Whites convinced themselves there was a threat of a black insurrection, and as usual, reacted with violence. Hundreds of white men attacked black residents, but many fought back, including black veterans. Sadly, there were reports that over 200 people, including children, were killed. Many who weren't killed were arrested and tortured while in custody. They were forced to confess about an insurrection, with 12 men receiving a death penalty. They eventually became known as the Elaine 12. With the help of the NAACP, their case went to the United States Supreme Court in 1923, and they were exonerated. This was one of the first times the NAACP won a case in front of the Supreme Court. Rosewood, Florida. Similar to the massacre in Tulsa, in 1921, a black community was burned to the ground 2 years later after a white woman named Fannie Taylor claimed she was assaulted by who? A black man. On January 1st, 1923. The first person killed was Sam Carter, a local blacksmith. He was tortured and his mutilated body was hung from a tree. Sam Carter was one of many. There were reports that up to 150 black people were killed in Rosewood, Florida. After Rosewood was destroyed, a grand jury and special prosecutor decided there was not enough evidence for prosecution of white men who killed innocent American citizens. In 1997, the late filmmaker John Singleton famously made the film Rosewood, starring Ving Rhames, based on the massacre. Based on the various examples of violence perpetrated on black communities, Tulsa wasn't a rarity. History reminds us that although not popularly discussed, communities in Arkansas, Florida, Louisiana, North Carolina, and so many others were victims of racial violence based on economic anxiety and threats of white to white womanhood. The discovery of mass graves nearly 100 years later in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is a chilling reminder of the way white terrorism of black lives is consistently minimized in history. And that's our Black Fact for today.
Keep listening to Black Focus Radio for more dynamic Black facts, our culture, our history, our people on JourneyRadio.com.
And don't forget, if you would like to sponsor Dynamic Black Facts, call me up. My personal cell phone number is 615-554-0568. I look forward to talking to you. I look forward to helping you set up a marketing campaign for your business. Here's why I keep talking about this. The fact that the United States has purposely hidden these massacres, these acts of white terrorism against black people. See, what you don't know, there are plenty of others. Go look up the Devil's Punch Bowl. In fact, I might use that as the Black Fact for tomorrow. Go find out what the Devil's Punch Bowl is. These massacres were replete across this country. But the reason they want to hide them from you is because that's evidence of why you must pay black people reparations. But more importantly, if you heard the line, and I'm paraphrasing, that many of those massacres took place because what? Those white folks were upset about their economic status at the time. Black people were thriving. Those white folks were not. So they decided that they were going to take what those black people had built. I told you the other day that you judge a man or woman by their history. And unless they've done something along that path to show that what they were, they are no longer that, then they are the same. When this land was discovered by Christopher Columbus, what did they do? They took, they raped, they maimed, they killed. When they went to Africa, what did they do? They raped, they maimed, they killed everywhere they went. Don't get mad at me. This is facts and this is history. And throughout that process, particularly here in America, there has never been an apology. There has never been a reckoning of what white America did to people of color. And they are still recalcitrant in doing anything today. So now what are we hearing? We are hearing that white males are upset because they are losing their jobs that was once promised to them because of their white privilege to white women and black men and brown women. And they are feeling some kind of way. So you're even beginning to hear them talk about Civil War. Now, I take them as their word because I'm a student of history and I look at what they've done in the past. I don't doubt that there will be many who would like to start a civil war or will begin to commit acts to try to incite a civil war. This is why I'm telling all of you. Get you a gun. Don't be victim the way our ancestors were. Don't fall for this okie doke where all you got to do is pray about it and it'll go away. Don't fall for this jive where, hey, just turn the other cheek. Don't fall for this Pollyannish attitude of, oh, we just got to love our enemies. Are you going to love your enemy while he's putting a bullet in your head? Are you going to love your enemy while he's raping your wife and your daughter? I'm not. This country has history. And those 5 stories that I just read proves to you that, guess what? America has never been great to black people. Even when we've given them our all, even when we've died in their wars, we've died in their fields, we've built their buildings, but they've never been great to black people. I just want y'all to pay attention. And if some of you get mad, so be it. Yesterday, I ended with a quote by Dr. John Henry Clark, and the quote said, "Black people don't owe anything to anybody but an ass whooping." And I agree. It's time for black people to get angry. Because, when black people get angry, then you want to do something. But it takes you so damn long to get angry because you've been beat down psychologically all your lives. But it's time for us to get angry and defend what's ours. Everybody else is doing it. Why is it when the black man does it, everybody wants to point the finger? Because they know and understand the power of black people. What would happen if we all came together? What would happen if we started moving on one accord? We could move the world. Think about this from this perspective. Someone posted something a while back that said they love black culture, they just don't love black people. Now, what do I mean by that? To me, it means that just through our culture, we have changed the world. Just by how we look, just what we wear. Oh, you don't think that's true? Why do you think white women are getting collagen shot up in their lips and their butts? Because they want to look like a sister. Why do you think they're getting breast augmentation? Because they want to look like a sister. Hello? All I'm simply saying is this. If someone is threatening you and you do nothing about it and he comes and takes control of your home, then you get what you deserve. That's kind of like the Russians saying, "Hey, we're gonna come and bomb America." And America says, "I don't believe you." Instead, what did America do? They built weapons too. So you bomb us, we're going to bomb you. You got to take the same attitude. I appreciate what Robert Webb says. I believe in violence, just like America does. Now, when America stops believing in violence, I'll stop believing in violence. But everything that America has acquired through its history has been through violence. And that violence plays out every day on our streets, with police killing black men, with guns being pumped into our communities, illegal guns, so that it can kill black men. America makes money off of violence. So you have to be violent in order to live in America. You've got to be willing to defend what's yours. And right now, I don't really know if black people are ready to defend what's theirs. I don't think black people have learned a lesson from history, because I don't think enough black people read history. Because if you did, you'd be thinking the same way I'm thinking. Those of us who've read the history, those of us who've studied the history, those of us who continues to read and look for clues, we see it happening today. We had United States congressmen just the other day talking about civil war. And here's the irony about it. Them same poop butt ass congressmen have never even went to war. They'll send your children, but they won't go fight. They won't send their children, just like your president. Isn't it ironic that not one of the people, not one of the sons, not one of the Trumps has ever served the United States of America? Now, that doesn't mean that you have to do that to be president. I'm not saying that. But you would tend to believe, with the history of the the Trump family, that someone down the line would have went to war to fight for America. No, you can't tell me that you give a damn about America when you're not willing to fight for her. But here are the same men, white men, who are afraid because of immigration. I've told you for years now that the Republican policy is nothing but covert racism. You had a president who said negative things about dark-skinned people who came from countries with dark-skinned people, and then had the unmitigated gall to say, well, why aren't we getting more people from Scandinavia? Well, who the hell is from Scandinavia? White people. If he's not sending you a message, black people, you are either too stupid to hear it, or you just simply have beeswax in your ears. So it's time to clean your ears out. They're telling you that they are afraid because they are losing their stature. It used to be the white male and everybody else. And they're seeing things change before their eyes. That's why I always laugh when I hear them complaining. And I say, so you're against civil rights, right? Yeah, man, it's not fair. You know, and they'll give you these litanies of excuses, but they never give you facts. And then I'll throw a fact at them. I said, well, you know, this 2042 thing is coming, right? There's nothing you can do about it. Well, I guess. I said, well, here's what you can do. You may not want to. And I'd say, doesn't it make sense to start enforcing and bolstering the civil rights laws today, so that when 2042 rolls around and white men are the minorities, that they'll be protected? And then I get that puppy dog look. You know how how the dog kind of looks at you and turns his head like, starts drooling. His dribbles start coming outside of his mouth. Because he know it makes sense, but he can't make the sense of it. You know what I'm saying? That's what your puppy does. He says, now, that really makes sense for massa. But I can't, I'm too stupid to make sense of it. Wow. I'm just saying. 855-525-5683. It makes sense. You should be bolstering civil rights laws, but instead you fight against them every day, and it's going to be to your detriment, or maybe not to you, but to your children's detriment in about 20 years. Because look, here at the end of the day, even if you have a civil war, let's say all the black and brown people line up on one side and all the white people line up on the other side. You're outnumbered. In 21 states, they are already majority minority. In 14 states right now, there are more white people dying than there are being born. You are outnumbered. See, the problem with racism is it's illogical. And when you start trying to apply logical facts, you really begin to realize just how illogical racism is. Because you might say, hey, we'll have a civil war, not really understanding that, hey, you're outnumbered. And then you might say, well, if we're outnumbered, we'll just nuke it. Okay, go ahead, dumbass. Because when you nuke America, you nuke everybody. That's why I'm saying racism is illogical. I'm reminded of when Dr. Welsing was on Donahue, when she told the white supremacists that this was going to happen, that America, because of genetics, was going to start browning and continue to brown as it has. And the white supremacists said, well, before we let y'all take over America, we're going to blow it up. I believed him then, and I believe him now. And you better believe him as well. 855-525-5683 is the number. Got to watch Watchmen. I hadn't seen Watchmen. I haven't seen it yet. I guess I'll try to sit down over the holidays and watch it. Everybody's been talking about it. Everybody's been asking about it. But see, the thing is, I already knew about Tulsa. Been knowing about Tulsa for years. You know, when the Gap Band came out and they told the story, I went and did the research and looked it up. Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. That's what Gap means for the Gap Band. And many of you have partied like it was 1999 to all kinds of Gap Band music and never realized that their name evolved from the Tulsa the Tulsa race massacres. Because y'all not paying attention. The best way to hide something from black folks, put it in a book or on the internet. I'm taking a break. I'll be back in a moment. You're listening to Black Focus Radio. Our issues, our solutions, our voices on joynetradio.com.
Business owner, can I talk to you for a moment? How many people have come up to you and said, hey, I didn't know you had a business? Yeah, that could happen when you don't have
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? Appreciate y'all joining the show today. I think we'll have Robert back tomorrow.
That you're in business. I know what you're thinking. Advertising is so expensive.
By the way, and I'll talk about this when we get back on the air. I don't know why my beard like to kind of sit sideways. And it's got like two sections. But we are trying to put together a debate for District 34. We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Specifically for your business. Now is the time to tell the world, hey, I'm in business. Come spend your money on quality goods in my store. Let us help you at joynetradio.com. Here's the number. Call me 615-554-0568. We are here to assist you in building your brand.
Hi, I'm attorney Theodore Thompson from the Thompson Law Firm, and I want to help with your legal matters. Whether it's criminal defense, bankruptcy, personal injury, or family law, I want to help you. I can be reached at 501-503-5095. Don't face your legal issues alone. You need an attorney whose primary objective is to provide you with the best legal representation. Our office address is 415 North McKinley, Suite 710 in Little Rock. I'm attorney Theodore Thompson, and I want to provide you with the best legal representation.
Serving the families of Clark County and the surrounding area since 1966, it's Mitchell Funeral Home. Understanding that a funeral is a celebration of life, the entire staff of Mitchell Funeral Home takes great pride in the caring, personal, and professional service they offer. Cremations, funeral plannings, burial policies, life insurance, notary, and monument sales are a few of the services we offer. Mitchell Funeral Home, Arkadelphia, 870-246-2611. Mitchell Funeral Home. Quality you can appreciate, service you can depend on.
Hey, lock this number in. 501-406-7134. That's 501-406-7134. That will get you some fabulous chicken wings delivered right to your door. I'm talking great American chicken wings with all of the flavors like spicy Cajun, honey hot, garlic hot, atomic hot, ranch hot, hot buffalo, chipotle, chili, all American, spicy lemon pepper, just to name a few. Oh, you want me to keep going? Yeah, country fried, mild barbecue, honey mustard, taco deal. Oh, I'm telling you, it's going down. Just call the number 501-406-7134. That's 501-406-7134. It's the Great American Wings, and I'm telling you, they are delicious and delivered right to your door. Call that number and get in touch today. As a matter of fact, you can drop by We're located at 6323 Colonel Glenn Road in Little Rock. That's Great American Wings.
All right, welcome back to the show. Just kind of chuckling a little bit. People are responding to the post I made the other day about the GOP official that accidentally used the N-word. And when you look at her, she looks black. But anyway, I don't want to get back into that mess again. All right. So a couple other things I want to talk about today. Let's see here. The federal appeals court, the federal court rules Trump border wall is illegal. Okay, so there that goes. See, here's what Donald Trump was trying to do. He was trying to build a white pyramid. That's what that wall is all about, man. That wall wasn't going to stop anything. There was an article last week where they showed some immigrants climbing over the wall. It was supposed to be the best wall made with the best materials that was using the best contractors. Damn immigrants were climbing over the wall last week. So he wanted to divert $3.6 billion from the military construction funds to build this wall. Republicans said, go Donald, go Donald, go Donald. That's why they impeached his ass yesterday. I want to talk a little bit about the impeachment. And by the way, Donald Trump, what a sorry, look, I don't even have to say he's a sorry piece of, you know what? You already know that. Okay? Y'all already know that. So, that's like water under the bridge. But I do want to talk a little bit about what he said yesterday. And I also want to talk a little bit about some of these, well, let's do this one first. Here's a GOP representative yesterday when they were arguing. Look, I'm going to tell you, if you didn't watch the arguments for impeachment yesterday, you missed, oh man. If you watch soap operas, you should have watched the impeachment process yesterday. Them damn Republicans was, whoa, man. They were talking loud. They weren't saying much. But, man, that was theater in the raw. I'm going to tell you, I thought I was at Stratford upon Avon. It was crazy. So here's what one of the GOP representatives said yesterday. Doug Loudermilk from Georgia. See, when people start trying to use their faith as a means to a test, then you need to look at them cross-eyed. That's anybody. That's anybody. And we've seen now that Republicans are bad about trying to use Christianity as a litmus test to whether or not you should vote for that person. Last I checked, do I need to get my Constitution out? Last I checked, there's a thing called separation of church and state. I don't give a damn that you're a preacher if you're running for office. I don't want your religious doctrine to come into your political decisions that may affect my life. That's why I said we got too many black preachers running for office and winning. We don't need any more black preachers in office. Sorry, no offense. That's just my personal feeling. Because we need to continue, we need to make sure that separation of church and state is a brick wall. It is a wall that is better built than Donald Trump's wall. But here's what Representative Barry Loudermilk said. When Jesus was falsely accused of treason, Pontius Pilate gave Jesus the opportunity to face his accusers. During that sham trial, Pontius Pilate afforded more rights to Jesus than the Democrats have afforded this president in this process. So Doug Loudermilk from Georgia just called Donald Trump Jesus. And I know some of y'all out there saying, amen, amen. And if you are, you're an idiot. Sorry. I'm not calling your name, but if you're acting like one, then you are one. That shoe fit, you can tap dance with it. If that's your song, you can dance to it. I'm just saying. He called Donald Trump Jesus. Wow. What Bible y'all reading? I mean, I'm reading the wrong Bible. Maybe I need to. And let me ask you a question. How is it that the white Republicans' Bible is different from the black people's Bible? I'm just asking a question, hey, don't get mad at me. Are y'all reading the same? How could you be reading the same Bible and have so many different interpretations? And then white people use that Bible to enslave black people. Then they used to pray over black women when they raped them before they raped them. Oh, and they prayed over black men when they raped them before they raped them. And black children, they prayed over black children when they raped them before they raped them. Well, what Bible y'all using? The fact that these people keep proselytizing, keep trying to use the Lord's name in vain is more the reason why, if you are a practicing Christian, you should vote against them. Because all they're doing is calling or saying Christian stuff to say, oh, well, see, I gotta vote for him. Because see, he's a Christian. Listen to how he talks. And y'all go out and vote for these fools. And they don't give a damn about y'all. Very interesting. I'm just saying. So Donald Trump was impeached last night. All the local stations or the network stations broke into it. Let me explain to you what this impeachment is really all about. It is basically the checks and balances of the House. It's basic civics, okay? Or it's Saturday morning cartoon if you watched any of the Scholastic Rock cartoons. So the impeachment process was set up to keep tyrants like Donald Trump from running rampant over the Constitution. Now, it was also deemed that there would be honest and legitimate people in either the House or Senate, and both, that if impeachment was necessary, it would carry it out and everybody would be loyal to the Constitution and not to a party. What we've seen now is people loyal to parties, especially the Republican Party. So the impeachment took place. The House votes on the impeachment. The trial is held in the Senate. If, in fact, the president is convicted, then he can be removed from office. The fact of the matter is that he's not going to be convicted in the Senate because the Senate is ran by the Republicans. You've already heard them say that I don't care. In fact, Mitch Romney came out and said, I don't care what the evidence looks like. I'm still not going to vote for impeachment. You heard Mitch McConnell last week talk about he's coordinating with the defendant. And he's supposed to be a juror. Because, all of the Senate, all 50 members are jurors. So at the end of the day, the only thing that is going to happen is that what's going to be on Donald Trump's record is that he is impeached. Now, it's a serious thing. That means that Congress can't trust him. But will he be removed from office? No. And a lot of people out there were expecting, well, all right, he impeached, he's going to be removed. No, he's not. Because we don't have anyone in the Senate that has any backbone. We don't have anyone in the Senate that has any moral fiber on the Republican side of the aisle. We don't have anyone in the Senate that's willing to stand up and be a man and honor his or her oath to the Constitution of the United States, one that they swore to uphold and defend instead of their party loyalty. That's why Donald Trump will not be impeached. So I'm telling you all this now because when he doesn't get impeached, I don't want to hear a lot of black people say, oh, see, the system is rigged. No, the system isn't rigged. The system is working the way it's supposed to. It's just that the people that are running the system are corrupting the system. That means your politicians, particularly the Republicans, but the Democrats are not far behind them. So how do you remedy that problem? There's only one way to remedy that problem. And by the way, disgruntled white Republicans is not civil war. Yeah, let's have a war. Let's have a civil war at the ballot box. Let's pretend like they're serving Popeye's fried chicken at the ballot box. No, Popeye's fried chicken sandwiches. Yeah, Popeye's fried chicken. I got to go get me a sandwich. Let's have a civil war at the ballot box. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, let's make this impeachment clear. That anyone who supported Donald Trump in his treachery, including all of the Arkansas Congress people, including French Hill, who I was going to read his letter on my show, but it doesn't deserve the airing. You, French Hill, are a charlatan. You don't deserve being read on this show. In fact, you don't deserve the vote from the Arkansas people because we sent you to Washington to defend the Constitution, not defend the president. And you've abdicated your responsibility. Just like all the others. So the only way to fix this problem, ladies and gentlemen, is that get registered to vote and then vote. Take your mama, your cousin, your sister, your uncle, your nephew, everybody that's 18, make sure they're registered and get their butts to the polls. Let's make a statement. And not only that, remember I challenged you 2 years ago to say, hey, look, let me show you how voting works. Here is another opportunity to prove to Republicans and Democrats that if you're not willing to do our bidding, we're not going to vote for you. If you're going to sell your soul to lobbyists, we're not going to vote for you. We have to take the system back. We as American citizens, not politicians, not lobbyists, we as American citizens must take the system back, just like we must take law enforcement back. Now, if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to stand up for yourself by simply going in and pulling a lever, then don't expect politicians who are being paid off by lobbyists to stand up for you. And they're going to continue to run roughshod over your asses every day and then come to you and say, let us pray. I'm a Christian. They've got their right hand up swearing on the Bible and their left hand behind them being padded with lobbyist money. That's all of them. It's time to send a message, America. Just see, we can have a civil war and we don't have to fire a shot. Let's have a civil war at the ballot box. Bring it on. That don't mean you don't get strapped though. I'm just saying, get your gun. But we need to have a civil war at the ballot box. Every one of you, if you've never voted before, here's your chance to participate in a war. A war for America. A war for black people, white people, brown people, people who believe in one another and not these race baiters who tend to want to make money and pit us against one another while they laugh all the way to the bank. Hello? 855-525-5683 is the number. It's time, my brothers and sisters. If you're poor and you're white, you're in the same boat as a poor black person. If you're middle class and you're white, you're in the same boat as a middle class black person. Hello? So why are y'all fighting each other? Because some bigot has put it in your head that you better than someone because of your skin color? Then you are a damn fool. Wow, I'm just saying. Woo! When we come back, I'll give you an update on we're trying to put together a debate. We'll let you know about that. We got some other news. I want to talk a little bit about black billionaires and why they won't save us. That's all coming up. And when we get back, and immediately on the other side of the hour, we're going to talk a little bit about this Citizens Review Board and tell you my reservations in them. In fact, I'll tell you some of them right now, at least one of them. I don't trust them. It's Black Focus Radio, folks. We do this every day. You know what we like to say? Our issues, our solutions, our voices on JoyNetRadio.com.
The personal care and attention that larger law firms cannot offer. Our experienced attorneys have brought hundreds of cases to verdict in state and federal court and recovered millions for our clients. If you or a loved one have been injured or have property wrongfully damaged, we may be able to help. Do not hesitate to contact our firm anytime for a free attorney consultation. Call 1-800-848-1290. That's 1-800-848-1290. Or email inquiries@arkansas-personal-injury.com. Our law offices are centrally located at 212 Center Street in Little Rock. That's the law offices of James F. Swindoll, personal injury and products liability attorney serving Arkansas since 1977.
Mitchell Funeral Home welcomes all of Arkadelphia and Arkansas to connect with a family-owned and operated service provider in Clark County since 1966. At Mitchell Funeral Home, they understand that the funeral is a celebration of a life and legacy, so the entire staff takes great pride in the caring, personal, and professional services they provide. Cremations, funeral planning, burial policy, life insurance, notary, and monument sales are just a few of the services they offer. Flexible packages are available as well. Mitchell Funeral Home appreciates the trust and confidence placed in them and will continue to enhance their services so as to serve you better. Call now. Get connected. 870-246-2611. That's 870-246-2611. Call, click, or come by. MitchellFuneralServices.com. Don't wait till we're needed. Call us now. Let's walk through this together. 870-246-2611. It's quality you can appreciate and service you can depend on at Mitchell Funeral Home.
Hi, this is Alvin from Habibi's 4317 East Broadway in North Little Rock. We still have the green top at your very next stop. The same great service, but more of it. Give us a call, 501-663-1553 or 664-2992, or call our toll-free number, 1-877-HABIBI-1. Diapers, pull-ups, hospital beds, wheelchairs, Simply Fit, diabetic supplies, underpads, and more. Your durable medical supply center.
LeBron James is the greatest player we've seen this generation. You have to be careful when you start saying, and so, well, he wasn't as good as Michael, or he wasn't as good as Magic. Every generation you get that. You begin to sound like that old man that lives down the street, and every time you walk on his yard, or you even walk by his yard, he's on the porch, and he's got that little crooked finger, he's like, get off my lawn! Get off my lawn! Join the weekly sports magazine every Saturday, 8 to 10 a.m. on JoyNetRadio.com. Get off my lawn!
You got it. He's Rock's answer to your aggravation. Joy Network.
The views and opinions expressed today on Black Focus Radio are not the views and opinions of the station, its management, or its advertisers. Now, let's get ready to focus on our issues, our solutions, using our voices on Black Focus Radio.
Welcome to Black Focus, the show designed with our community in mind, where we focus on our issues, developing our solutions, using our voices. Central Arkansas, surrounding areas, and the nation. Get ready. Black Focus starts right now. Phone lines open at 855-525-5683. So here's your host, David W. Coleman and Robert Webb.
All right, welcome back to the second hour of the show. Robert Webb is still in Missouri, in Kansas City, having a good time. 855-525-5683 is the number. That's how you get in touch with us. Got a lot of things to talk about. I've got to go out and update my MailChimp, man. They done did. We can offer free downloads and accept online payments now. Oh, heck yeah. I see what I'll do with that. Okay, I'm doing some other stuff here. Yeah, I got to log into my MailChimp. Okay, all right. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, this hour as well. By the way, I want to shout out to Herman Boone. Herman Boone was the legendary coach in the movie Remember the Titans that was played by Denzel Washington. So shout out to him. He passed away, I think yesterday or day before, at age 84. Just quickly, a unique story. While I was in Tennessee, Herman Boone and his coaches came to Nashville, to Montgomery Bell Academy, and I actually stumbled upon some of those pictures about a month or so ago. My son, there had to be over 400 kids out there that they sent them through the paces as far as a football camp. Coach Boone and a lot of other coaches were there. Check this out. Jim Brown was there. This is the first time that I had ever met Jim Brown. I'll tell you a quick story about him in a moment. And I've forgotten I believe it was the offensive line coach for the Washington Redskins who actually brought all of his Super Bowl rings. There were 5 of them. And I actually took a picture of my hand with all of those rings on that I have in my archive as well. So hats off to Herman Boone. Certainly that was during a tumultuous time in 1971 when that school was desegregated and whites and blacks had to come together and learn to play together. And, you know, it used to be that one thing we always knew, that if you were on my team, then it didn't matter whether or not you were white or black. We all sweated. We crawled through sputum and throw up and sweat and, you know, tears and running bleachers. It didn't matter. But it seems now that even the locker rooms have become even segregated again. And that's really sad. It really is. Some of my best friends growing up and playing football through junior high, high school, and college are white. Unfortunately, some of those very people have went over to the dark side. So hats off to Coach Herman Boone. and prayers go out to his family. 855-525-5683. Now, I want to spend a little time on this Little Rock, and I've got some other stuff I'm going to cover, but I want to spend a little time on this Citizens Review Board. So I'm going to go ahead and do this now so I have enough time to cover everything I want to talk about. So one of the campaign pledges for the mayor was to install cameras on police and to have a Citizens Review Board. Now, hadn't been quite a year yet, but we've recently heard that cameras will be funded through a grant and police will have cameras. Now, my question is, and my concerns were, even before the cameras were decided that it was going to happen, is there needs to be some type of penalties involved when it comes to those cameras. What happens if a police officer turns off his camera? Should there be a penalty? Should he be disciplined? What happens if a police officer who is involved in, let's say, a confrontation, he turns off his camera and the suspect ends up dead? What should happen to that officer? Should he be fired? In other words, right now, as far as I know, and Russ, I know you're listening, have there been any guidelines set up on how these cameras will be used and what will be the penalties for police officers who purposely disable or turn off their cameras? Because we've seen this all across the country. We've seen it all across the country where police officers will turn off their cameras and then something happens. And then we have to go with their word. We know now that their word is not always golden. We know now that you can't trust police. Well, I say we. In our community, we've known it for a long time. We grew up not trusting police. But right now, there are no guidelines as far as what will be penalties if these police officers tinker or disable these cameras. So, is it a campaign promise that's kept? Or is it simply a facade? Well, you can say, well, he said they were going to get cameras, so he kept his campaign promise. These cameras without teeth behind them are useless. Without penalty behind them, they are useless. So did you really keep your campaign promises, Mr. Mayor? I'm asking for a friend. One of the other campaign promises is the Citizens Review Board. A few weeks ago, they put out the letter and they had people to submit applications to be part of the Citizens Review Board. Now, when I read this latest article, it doesn't say, it doesn't give a tenure, unless I missed it. It doesn't give a tenure of how long these people will serve. Is this a permanent board or will it be a revolving board? That's one thing. And number two, what teeth do they have? Are they just somebody a group that was put together to satiate the concerns of the black community, although it has no teeth? Well, if that's the case, we've been duped again. I don't know that to be true, but I'm just asking the questions. You all need to ask the questions. You all need to ask your mayor. What are their tenures? And what power do they have? Because if they have no power, then there's no reason to even create them. If they have no investigatory power, then what can they do? If they have no subpoena power, what can they do? And I've read this article, and I even read the other stuff about this board. And I haven't seen anything as it relates to investigative power. I haven't seen anything about subpoena power. So what good is it? Can y'all help me out? I'm just asking the question for a friend or two or three. Because, see, I'm tired of being duped. I'm tired of being duped. And when I looked at these names on this list, oh boy. And I looked at their professions, oh boy. Will these people, will they be part of the citizens, or will they be part of the corporate structure? 855-525-5683. We got a call on the line. Caller, what's your name? What you want to talk about? Welcome to Black Focus Radio. Sir, who are you, sir? Who are you, sir? What do you mean, what happened?
Man, why are you going so hard on him there? He made a promise. He said, hey, I'm going to get you a system review board, and I'm going to get you video camera. He came through on his promise, but you said that's not enough?
Robert, don't blow smoke up my butt and tell me it's a campfire. Okay? You probably figured out by now, I ain't in the mood for that today. Okay? Just because you're up there in Missouri eating Gates barbecue, kicking back like a fat rat, old school style, because I know you done been to Gates 3 or 4 times already by now. You know? So, but no, man, come on, dude. Let me just give you some of these names. Because, yeah, that's the old bait and switch. You give us a citizens review board, but you put people on this board who are nothing but corporate shills. Now, I'm okay. 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 What power do they have, Mr. Webb? Exactly. So that we don't have a citizens review board. Done. Next. If they have no subpoena power, if they have no investigatory power, then they are nothing but names on a chalkboard. That's like going and buying me a new car, but don't put a motor in it, bro. Come on now.
He had appointed Russ. Would you feel better about it if Russ was one of the guys he appointed to?
Of course I would have. I'd love for Russ Raycott. I'd love to be able to look at these names and be able to recognize a name. Okay? I don't care about Nikolai Fiskin, who is from Stevens. Okay? I don't care about that. Because, yeah, he lives in Little Rock, but how many times is Nikolai Fiskin going to be affected by the police department? Oh, that's right. He'll probably do the calling. What about Mary Carroll? What about Maria Smedley, who is from one of the... Man, don't get me started. And what about Derek Smith? Who are these people? What interaction? How do you tell me that Michael Harris is a community activist because he runs a nonprofit? Well, I know a whole lot of people out who run nonprofits. That don't mean they're community activists. Now, look, I don't know any of these people on this list. Do you? Bingo. Now, wait a minute. Oh, you just said something, Mr. Webb. Mr. Robert Webb, who has spent the last 10 to 15 years actively working in the Little Rock community, and you don't know not one of these people? Don't well me. Don't well me. The answer is yes or no, sir. Do you know any of these people, you Mr. Former Advocate, do you know any of these people on this list? I rest my case.
But just because I don't know them doesn't mean they're not advocates, though. I mean, they could be, you know, something else. They could be advocates for different things, right? I don't know. I don't know that to be a fact. But the thing is, I'm saying to you though, Dave, how can you criticize the man for giving you what he said he'd give you? He promised you
That's like giving me figgy putty with no figs.
So I'm proud of him for keeping his commitment. That I will give him credit for. But unfortunately, I can't be happy about either, right? And the reason I can't be happy about either is I'm gonna say it again, as far as in relation to the cameras anyway. After the grant runs out, who funds the cameras? Do they come from the general fund? And if so, then what are you taking it from to fund the cameras? Number two, I don't understand how you could have a task force that deals with police violence and you don't have any advocates who dealt with the police. Now, I know people said you had to apply. Maybe Russ didn't apply. Maybe I didn't apply. Maybe Ian didn't apply. Maybe Anika didn't apply. Maybe Rizal didn't apply. Maybe you didn't apply. So we can't say that he picked the best of the group, right?
Robert, let me ask you a question. Have you read the article in the Democrat about these people? Okay. Fiskin is an executive president at an investment banking firm in Stevens Incorporated. How does that? Okay. But that's really going to, let me go on. Harris was the board's community representative. He's a grant writer for nonprofits and founded the nonprofit Icarus Youth Outreach Program. Okay. Poole 59 has 17 years of experience working directly with the Arkansas General Assembly. Smedley, that's Maria, is Vice President of Human Resources and Strategy at Arkansas Electric Cooperatives Corporation. She's only lived in Little Rock for 9 years, by the way. Yeah, she's black. Ish. Smith is an attorney with Mitchell, Williams, Sillick, and Gates and Woodward, who practice includes, check this out, representing insurance companies before state regulators. He cited his experience dealing with law enforcement issues while a law clerk to the now retired State Court of Appeals judge, Ollie Neal. Now, I'm just asking for a friend, okay? Does any one of those 5 people make you feel comfortable that they are going to represent the people of this city? I didn't ask you that, Robert. I'm asking you. Does that make you feel that when little Johnny Superstar gets blown away in the street from a cop who thought the soda that he was drinking was a secret weapon, do you feel like any one of those 5 people are going to legitimately weigh the evidence and come down against that cop? See, you playing politics. You wait, come on now. You playing politics.
I gotta hope and I gotta believe, right? I gotta hope and believe that the 5 people he appointed have some kind of decency or have some kind of compassion for officer involved shooting. I have to hope that they do, because if they don't, again, what's the point, right?
Robert, every one of those work jobs where they have no serious interest in. Let me just give you a lawyer, a nonprofit founder, an investment banker, a utility executive, and a lobbyist. Really, dude? Really? Really? Really?
With police, and you appoint people who won't give you an adverse decision. They'll give you the decision that you want.
Woo.
I don't know what you want me to.
Woo-saw. Woo-saw. See, it's becoming even more clearer why Little Rock is in the predicament that it's in. This is like a damn circular, man, this is like a circular firing squad. And everybody's shooting blanks. This is crazy, dude. You tell me there's not one community activist on this panel? Not one? All of these people are corporate individuals. They don't give a damn about little people. Let me ask you something. What is a nonprofit guy going to do? Because his money is beholden to the city or the state. What is he going to do? He votes the wrong way. Boom, they pull his funding. Come on, dude. What about a lawyer? What is he making a year? 6 figures. What about the investment banker? What about the utility executive? What about the lobbyist? They don't have any one iota of compassion for the little people that are affected by police brutality. Not one.
Honestly, we don't know, right? We won't know until something happens and it's reported. Help you out, Dave. He appointed Jay Barr to be his education whatever, right? Hello?
No, I'm holding my head because I'm having an attack right now.
I mean, what about Jay Barr? I mean,
To do what?
he's the education guy for whatever reason.
To do what?
Doesn't he get paid for that?
So has the city filed a lawsuit against the state yet?
No. Lawsuit against the state.
Has city officials joined with the people that are going after the governor to demand the LRSD to be returned back to public control? Did the city at any motion when they passed out those new regulations last week that they voted 8-0? Did anyone from the city stand up and say, "Hey, we are against this. We will see you in court"?
They did not.
I rest my case, sir.
That can be said for a lot of groups, Dave. That can be said for AEA. That can be said for LREA. That can be said for NEA. That can be said for anybody. Nobody's done that, Dave. So you can't put all of it on the city.
But the school system is in the city. It is up to city officials to defend this city against incursion, against taxation without representation. This city has not done nothing. Nothing.
Dave, let me remind you where you are. You're in the same city that did not protect 9 kids who were trying to get into Little Rock Central High School. The federal government had to protect them. Little Rock has never protected anybody black, ever. Ever. Protection for black folks in Little Rock is not something that we get. We get abuse, but we don't get protection. We get manipulated, but we don't get protection.
And there's a lot of manipulation going on. Like I said earlier in the show, I'm beginning to understand Little Rock very clearly now. It took me a while. I'm sorry, I was preoccupied with a lot of other stuff, but now, the wax is from my eyes. I'm beginning to see very clearly what the hell is. I've asked the question, what happened to Little Rock in the last 35 years? I've been asking that question. No one can really give me an answer. So I began to go on a search for my own answers. And boom, shakalaka, boom. It's beginning to get very clear now.
Yeah?
Lord have mercy. I'm wondering, Russ, did you apply for the Citizens Review Board? I'm just curious. Because you would tend to believe look, there is not one person on this. I mean, when I saw the attorney, I said, well, maybe he's a civil rights attorney. He ain't even a damn civil rights attorney. You get my point? If there's not one person on this board, this is what's killing me about this. There is not one person on this board that theoretically will be adversely affected by police brutality. Maybe Michael Harris, the guy who runs the nonprofit, maybe him or Derek Smith, but Maria Smedley, she's not. Nikolai Fiskin is not.
Invite the mayor to come on and talk about it.
The mayor has had an open invitation to come on this show, and we initially said that he would come on once a quarter. I have not heard from the mayor. But if you're listening, Mr. Mayor, or any of his underlings, you're more than welcome to come on the show as we agreed upon once a quarter to talk about some of your initiatives. And I know they listen.
Uh-huh.
And I know they listen.
Well, maybe we should reach out to him. Maybe we should reach out to him and say, hey, can you come on the show next month, after the first of the year?
I'll let you do that, Robert.
Oh, my God. He was your boy at first. No, he's not your boy, though.
I didn't say that. I'm just simply, look, hey.
Offense. Oh, the mayor. I know his mother. And my goodness, he's a fine young man. What's up, dog? How you act like this now? That you do that, man. You got an attitude with your boy? You can't do that, man. And did.
Robert. No, I don't.
Oh. Wow. I am flat blown away right now.
And you should be. So that tells you that I ain't up for no BS. I'm done.
Say right now.
Don't say nothing. Nothing.
I am at a total loss for words.
Well, good. Maybe you'll hang up.
You trying to make me hang up? I'm surprised you hung up on me. Hey, you were the one who was like you started the fan club for Matt Scott.
Robert.
Now.
Robert.
Like the pop-up.
Robert, you know, here's the one thing why I have great friendships is because real friends can criticize one another and still have respect for one another. So if there's someone out there who's getting in their feelings because I don't agree with everything you do, then that ain't a real friendship.
So damn political. You are so political. I smell politics all over you. You reek of politics, Dad.
Stop it. Stop.
I'm gonna hang up on you.
Stop it.
Man.
Oh, no, you're not. No, you ain't going there with that. You ain't going there with me. Let me ask you something. Where'd you eat lunch today?
What?
Where'd you eat lunch today? Oh, so you didn't go to Gates today. Oh, that reminds me, man. I need you to bring me about 6 bottles of their mild sauce back. Yeah. Man, don't look, just do it, okay? In fact, you can bring me a case. Just bring 12 of them. I'm just saying. A real friend would do that.
Okay, fine. So I support you because they're real friends, right?
Not my real friends.
You are.
Oh, man. All right, man. You be careful on the way back, man. That's Robert Webb calling in from Missouri. You know, we had another caller. Let me see if we can get him back on as well. Caller, if you want to call back, you can call us back. I'm sorry the line was full at the time. But yeah, you can certainly give us a call back if you'd like today. 855-525-5683. I mean, I ain't playing, man. Somebody on this board should have some touch with the community. Just because you have a nonprofit doesn't make you a community activist. Let's go back to the phones. You're on Black Focus Radio. What's your name? Russ, what's up, man? You hear that mess from your friend Robert?
And he's I'm gonna be nice today. I won't say about that, but I noticed that Robert didn't disclose that he's actually a member of the grassroots, not affiliated with any government agency, Little Rock Citizens Police Review Board, that started several months ago.
Oh.
An independent group who takes complaints, and in fact, we're working on our second complaint right now, and we'll be submitting a report to the city on our findings. We don't expect them to act on it, but we'll put that out there. But same thing about these folks, nobody seems to know who the 26 applicants were. I've spoken with the city attorney. He doesn't know. I tried to reach the reporter that put the story out in the paper, but she's out of town for a relative's wedding and unavailable. But in the folks that I've talked to, I didn't hear any names of any community activists or any individuals that many might recall that when this was discussed at the board meetings, that it was particularly mentioned that activists, people that had worked with the police or, dealt with issues in the police would be considered. Now, I didn't apply because if I was the only person that submitted an application, I still wouldn't be selected by the mayor, and that's fine with me because if I was a member of it, I couldn't report about it. And the interesting thing is, this is not a police agency. This is a board and commission. Any documents or records that they get that they're looking at are FOIable.
Exactly.
The law enforcement exemption that the Freedom of Information Act has, because they are not a law enforcement organization.
So, Russ, I'm just curious. Do you know any of these people?
Never heard of any of them.
See, that's my point. You know, and look, I'll admit I've only been back 5 years. So that's why I began, when I first saw this article yesterday, I began to talk to people that have lived here and ask questions. Do you know these people? And then I started going out on Facebook and doing research. And I'm like, you know, like Michael Harris. Look, he's probably a nice guy. But why are you on your Facebook page cheesing with Asa Hutchinson? I got a problem with that. You know what I'm saying?
And yes, I have sent an FOI request for any police report in the last 3 years that contains any of their names.
Well, that's interesting.
Of experiences they have had personally with the police.
Well, based on their careers, based on their jobs, look, as I said, 3 of the 5 are making 6 figures. They're not dealing with police the way regular po folks do. You understand what I'm saying? And I'd be curious to know what areas. I don't need to know their address, but I'd be curious to know what areas of Little Rock they live in. Do they live south of 630? Is there anyone? Look, he could have done a better job by simply choosing people similar to what we have as wards are concerned. You know, and I think you should have had 9 people. What do we have, 9 wards? Is that correct? Okay, so why not have 11 people? Why not have 1 person from every ward and 1 at large? These people don't have, look, look, I could be wrong. I don't know any of them. But I'm just surmising that not, I would say maybe it's 5 of them. I'd say 20% of them live in south of 630. And
what time is it? By 3 o'clock this afternoon, I'll send you their addresses. I'll pull it off the voter registration records.
Now, wouldn't that be interesting if they're not even registered voters?
Well, and I think I'm sure they are, but if they're, that's one of the requirements for you holding a board, holding a position on one of these city boards or commissions is that you have to be a registered voter.
Well, I'd be curious to see where they live. I just would.
I'll have these 26 applications within a few days, but I would feel a lot more comfortable that this would be a representative board and might be able to do something if you had people like Don Jeffrey or Cyrus Borley or Robert Webb or Reverend Benny Johnson or somebody else that has had issues out there, you know, and has been before the people, and people know what they're about. But I'm not surprised at this because these are all done for show. They've already said they're not going to have any real teeth. The police chief is the final word at the department on what happens with his staff, and I think to me it's kind of ironic that they have training from the chief of police, from the city attorney, and the Department of Justice. I'm surprised they didn't go ahead and add the Chamber of Commerce because they got to appoint one of these members.
Yeah, I found that interesting as well. Hey, Russ.
When I'm sure this is the only news outlet in the city or in the state that's going over this. So keep it up, brother.
All right, man. You have a good day, and thanks for calling. You keep up the good work as well. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just tired of the okie doke. I'm tired of people blowing smoke up my butt and telling me it's a campfire and breaking out the marshmallows and making s'mores. I'm just tired. Look, to say you're going to do something and then you do it half-assed, you might as well not have done it. Your parents raised you like that. How many of y'all would, when your parents said either you're going to do it and do it correctly or don't do it at all? This is nothing more than to satiate and say, hey, look, I think Robin makes a great point that, hey, you asked for a citizens review board, here it is, in name only. You asked for cameras on police, here they are, but there's no teeth. That's just wrong, Mr. Mayor. You're my friend. I respect your family. But this is not good at all. And as I said, friends should be able to disagree. Now, if the mayor doesn't like me anymore because I disagree with this format, then that says a lot about his character, not mine. By now, you all know that I'm going to speak my mind on this show. That's what this show is designed to do. And if you get offended, then maybe you need to look at what you're doing and not what I'm saying. Because the people of Little Rock voted you in because you promised a citizens review board. And that wasn't some board that was just going to be set up in name only. You promised that they were going to have webcams on cops. And that was not going to be just for decoration, but there was going to be teeth behind what happens if you disable that camera. Nothing of that has happened. We have heard nothing about penalties as it relates to those cameras. Now, you may think I'm the only one concerned about this, but I guarantee you I've got tons and tons of listeners out there who are thinking the same thing. They are thinking, what the hell is going on? This is not what we voted him to do. And I certainly hope that people here in Little Rock don't fall for the okie doke like many of you all have done for Barack Obama. That you're so happy to have a black person in a black space that you will not hold him accountable. In fact, he should be held accountable even more so because it was our votes that put you in that seat. Without our votes, you are not there. And just like any politician that we talk about here on this show, that if they are not being accountable to the people that put them in office, then the next time around, maybe we don't need to vote for you. That's any politician. There's a new day in America. There's a new mindset in voters. And if you're one of those voters and have not developed that mindset yet, what are you waiting on? What's your problem? Stop allowing these people to come into your communities and lie, cheat, and steal from you intellectually. And all you can say is, that's my guy. I knew his mama. I knew him when he was a little bitty baby. I'm just saying. 855-525-5683. Russ sent me a picture of their letterhead. It says an independent grassroots citizens organization not affiliated with any governmental organization. Independent grassroots? Let me go back and look at these names on this list again, because I don't see anybody that's grassroots on this list. Do yourself a favor. Maybe I'm wrong. Do yourself a favor. Go out and look at these people. You can find them all on Facebook. You can find them all on, just Google their names. You tell me, how do these people, it would be great if you would have put the a family member whose child has been killed by the police on that board. It would be great to put an ex-felon on that board. I'm just saying. Let me move on. I got some other stuff I want to talk about today. I'm just Little Rock, what's wrong with you? By the way, I want to get into this real fast. The other day I came down hard on Oprah Winfrey because of her hypocrisy. And I know a lot of black women love her, love them some Oprah. But Oprah is one of the biggest hypocrites that is out there. We've been talking about all of the ties that she has with some of these, with some of these sexual abusers. We've been talking a lot about that. So I ran across another article. Faith healer featured by Oprah Winfrey on the run amid sex abuse claims from 300 women. Jorge Teixeira de Faria, known as John of God, appeared on Oprah Winfrey in 2013, but he has now become a fugitive in Brazil after a judge issued an arrest warrant. Hello? And I'm looking at a picture right now with Oprah Winfrey with her arm around him. Now, didn't Oprah have another picture with her arm around Weinstein? I believe she did. And see, this is the point that 50 Cent was making, and many other people are making, is that Oprah has ties to a lot of these so-called abusers, but she seems to only want to attack black men. What is up with that? D-A-T. Wit. W-I-T-D-A-T. What is up with that? She has no credibility. I told you the other day that I stopped liking Oprah years ago, and then living in Nashville and really getting some inside dope on Oprah and how she treated her her stepmother once her father died, literally evicting her when you didn't need the house, you didn't need the money, but you wanted to make a point because you were Oprah. And now you're being exposed as a charlatan and a hypocrite. And you still hate black men. Oh, she been with Stephen. Don't give me that mess. She won't marry Stephen because she's afraid he's going to get some of her money. Oprah. Documentaries on black males. Hit pieces on black males. But you're not doing it on these white men who are just abominations. Thanks, Oprah. Whether you believe it or not, you're still a hypocrite. And I don't care if y'all mad at me because y'all Oprah fans. Don't you have to ask the question? Why is Oprah going after black men in these sexual assault cases, but she's not going after white men? Why aren't she going after Harvey Weinstein? Because Oprah has all kinds of pictures with Harvey Weinstein. Did he do her? He tried to do everybody else. Why wouldn't he do Oprah? I ain't trying to be morbid or nasty. But maybe she enjoyed it. I don't know. But it seems peculiar that you would go after all these other brothers, but you're not going after any of these white guys. It just seems peculiar to me. I'm just asking the question for a friend. I'm just saying. Know what I'm saying? If we're going to address sexual exploitation, if we're going to address sexual battery, then the law should come down on the same against all of the perpetrators. But apparently Oprah Winfrey doesn't believe that to be true. And that's sad. That is sad. 855-525-5683. Speaking of billionaires, because the whole point of that is to say that if you're waiting on black billionaires to save you, to save the black community, they're not. They're not. Let me just read a little bit of this. When you're that vulnerable, it doesn't necessarily matter who the entrepreneur is who will exploit you. Like you're a prey. You're prey. Capitalism is an interesting thing. In today's day and age, it seems like there are too many camps when it comes to addressing controversial economic systems. Eat the rich and, hashtag status quo. And even if dining on wealthy sounds too extreme for some, maintaining a system that was literally built on the backs of enslaved black people, isn't the move. Race and racism are older than capitalism, and racism is baked into the system of capitalism, says race and economics journalist Aaron Ross Coleman. The Ida B. Wells Fellow also says that just one of many reasons behind the complicated relationship with black people and capitalism. In a video, watch Coleman as he outlines and focuses on billionaires like Oprah and Jay-Z instead of 40 million black Americans who aren't doing nearly as well financially. How we need to address the wounds of American racism after centuries of slavery and decades of Jim Crow, which economic system would be more beneficial for blacks, and more. I advise you to go out and look at that. The title of the video is called Black Billionaires Will Not Save Us. Because, I know Oprah has done a lot with her money in other countries. She's given away a lot of cars. I don't really know what Jay-Z has done. Probably bought some turkeys. I'm still tripping at y'all living on the backs of a drug dealer. Didn't Jay-Z used to sell drugs? I'm just asking for a friend. He got to come up. The hustle. I don't know. Maybe in my old age, I'm just getting jaded. Maybe that's what it is. I'm just a curmudgeon. Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. Maybe that's where I am now. Maybe I'm just mad at everything because I'm getting old and wake up in the morning and stuff be hurting that didn't hurt yesterday, or new stuff start hurting, or stuff that hadn't hurt in 20 years is now hurting again. Maybe that's my problem. So I've been walking around clogged up in my sinuses now for about 3 weeks, for about a month. Hadn't figured out why. I don't have a cold. I don't have the flu. Maybe I'm just getting old. Maybe that's it. Don't agree with me, JC. Maybe I'm just grumpy. That's what it is. The old age is making me grumpy, and I'm pointing out everything. That's it. Maybe that's it. Or maybe something stinks to high heaven, and I'm tired of it stinking, and I want the garbage taken out. And right now, I'm old enough to say it. They say when you get older, as you get older, you stop really caring about what people think about you. I've been at that point. I was at that point when I was like 17. I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to be me. So if I was like that when I was 17, then I'm certainly like that now. It's gotten worse. I was going to cover some cop questions, some cop stories. I'm not going to even cover them. Someone says it's a generation gap. Maybe it is. Oh, Lord. Lord. I don't know what to think anymore, man. Maybe I need to be like Robert. Maybe I'm thinking about being like Robert. Forget all this activist stuff and just become a full-fledged entrepreneur, capitalist, and don't care who I step on, who I run over. Don't care. Just get mine. Get mine. Just like all y'all doing. All y'all care about is getting yours. You don't care about nobody else. You don't care about helping the bigger picture, adding to the melting pot. All you want to do is get yours. Maybe that's what my problem is. I'm too busy trying to help everybody while everybody's just getting theirs. Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, that's the ticket. As I leave you, and yes, I'm leaving. I know some of y'all are probably saying, man, thank goodness Cliff said it's a generation gap. I am leaving. I'm done. I've had enough. But I shall return tomorrow to raise more Cain with you. And you're going to be mad at me again tomorrow. But you know, I don't care. I want to make sure I wish everybody happy impeachments, I should say. Go out and celebrate that there were a few people in Congress who had a backbone to call this president what he is, a charlatan. I got to get out of here, but before I go, I just have to end again with what Dr. John Henry Clark said. I love this quote. Black people don't owe anybody anything but an ass whooping. That's by Dr. John Henry Clark. You would do yourself a favor to learn more about him. Y'all have a great day.
You've been listening to Black Focus, where we discuss our issues with our solutions and our voices. Join us every weekday afternoon at 1 p.m. on joinetradio.com.